Working on it.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check.
Yep. Hello, hello.
I believe you fixed the issue.
Okay. Is the stream still on?
Stream is still on.
Okay.
Daphne, how you doing over there?
Sorry for the inconvenience.
All right. Well, I think we got it back.
I gotta say, good job to the technical team back here. Whew. I have no idea what buttons they were pushing, but it works.
Oh, I'm going to make a mistake. All right. I'm going to just start at the top because I don't know what you guys did and did not hear. But firstly, welcome. Thank you for joining us and bearing with us. Always try to minimize those technical things by doing all our tests ahead of time. But just like in real life and racing, stuff does not go always as planned, especially when it involves Windows and PCs and computers and whatnot. So, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us or returning or your first time, whatever it is. You're very welcome here. We're going to have a fun time tonight. So, my name is Giorgis. I am your founder and CEO here at the Chicane Club, South Florida's elite sim racing social club. We've got a pair of these really cool CXE Motion Pro 2 driving simulators. They sell for about $100,000 a piece the way they're sitting here right now. I've got one here, and we've got another one on the other side of my right screen. They're linked together. That we do all sorts of really cool stuff in the building here. But tonight, I'm doing my own iRacing on sim number 420, which is our primary sim. Yes, it is sim number 420. We did not pick that. It was the delivered sim purely by coincidence. It makes all sorts of fun jokes that everyone has fun with all the time, but it was not intentional, so I'll tell you that much. That's also why we run number 420 on the car, but, you know, keeping it fun. So anyways, tonight we're driving Spa from Belgium in the Eiffel Forest, at least digitally. It's going to be the biggest, longest, most dynamic track on the entire IMSA season calendar that we're going to go to. 4.5 miles long. Got a little bit of everything here. There's low speed, medium speed, high speed, big commitment, transition, elevation change, you name it. Spa's got a little bit of it everywhere. So, like, here's Radion and Rouge I'm going sideways through. That keeps you on your toes here. There's a lot to remember, a lot to deal with, and the multi-class element is going to be really big. The way iRacing manages it, they look at the track distance and then they scale the number of cars that get put into the race proportionately. So we're going to have a 45-car field tonight, which is a whole lot of cars. It's going to be about 15 to 20 cars in each class, depending on how they stack this up. So it's going to be busy tonight. We got a full house behind me. We got Angelo from Onze Suspension. You can say hi, Angelo.
Hi, Angelo.
Hi, Angelo.
Hi, Greg. How you doing?
You want to introduce yourself briefly here?
Nah, all yours. I'm still thinking about the track here.
Okay, so Angelo is a world-renowned race engineer, shock damper wizard. We call him Squishy around here. It's not a reflection of what he looks like personally, but it's more of what he does with race car stuff. So he's going to work through me here once we get through our Angelo introduction. We're going to work on some setup stuff. The race we did earlier today, car felt awesome. I had no trouble driving it, really neutral everywhere, did everything I asked, except be fast. It was 2.5 to 3 seconds a lap slower than everyone else, no matter what I did. I'm not making excuses. I know very well that drivers love to make excuses when the car is slow. There's probably half a second in it for me, if I'm just being honest with my own abilities. And obviously there's probably some crazy aliens that I'm racing against, but the setup of the car is not giving us what we need tonight. So we're going to use the last little bit of practice we have here to make some final changes. So with that being said, I'm going to come into the pit lane now, and we're going to make our first set of sweeping changes here to get started with things. But also behind me tonight, joining us as always, is Garrett Huizinga, who's going to be doing our spotting and crew chiefing work behind me. And then we got TJ from More Podiums back there helping us with the stream. And then my wife, Daphne, is not on microphone or camera tonight, but she's just off camera handling a YouTube stream. So you guys want to all say hi?
Hello, everyone. We're all good. We're all good.
Cool.
Pit lane, box, box, box.
Yeah, box. So. All right, so let's dig into the setup menu. So what I'm starting with tonight.
Greg, I got open mic. Basically, let's start out with what we first saw when I first walked in. Greg was reviewing some video with the team, and I, of course, was looking at the car, and I didn't think the car was fast in any changing directions. I started debriefing Greg right away. I said, "All right, this car is not fast. What are we doing to change it?" He agreed. He goes, "We're 2 seconds off pace." So, gentlemen, ladies, we're going to start going through setup and just try to throw some wholesale changes at this thing, see what she responds to.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Just so you guys know where I came with the setup, again, as an engineer, I know I can go to VRS or any of these other online sim membership models and go buy this crazy alien setup that will do whatever I want. I don't know where the fun is in that. And as much as it may ultimately give you a fast car, that's not how I like to do things. I like to learn and I want to do this myself. So I've used my own engineering ability to develop the setup that we currently have with limited time. I haven't been putting 15 hours into this week. I've probably got a practice race plus maybe 2 hours in the last 7 days to get this all ready. So we're starting with what we have and what I drove earlier today. So based on all of that and what Angelo watched, we're going to work through some discussions on some of our setup changes, and we'll try to explain what they do and how that's going to make the car feel different. We'll work through some setup sweeps, and then hopefully we'll have something that's a good bit faster by the time we go to quali and race. So yeah, Angelo, where do we want to get started? I know we were talking a little bit about possibly some rear toe in, maybe some change in the rear spring rate, maybe some rear wing changes. Where do you want to get started? I'll tell you, I'm not afraid of throwing a couple things at this at once.
Well, I think we have to.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's not going to be the perfect IndyCar test session where we own the track and do whatever we want and double it up. The biggest thing was the car did not change direction in the front end. I want to try to look for a little bit of front end grip. That was the first thing that you and I noticed. Lateral G was not there. We didn't get a chance to discuss slow speed, high speed, and everything else.
Yep.
Right off the bat, you and I agreed upon what first?
I think we said we wanted to add some toe into the rear to help with rear stability, and then add maybe the click of rear wing back to the car.
Pulling it out.
Pulling it out. Okay, we're already at a low setting. I can go lower, but as long as we stabilize otherwise.
I think we'll leave it. But so Greg had said that in certain areas it just lacked a little bit of confidence in the rear end. Zero toe is a big misnomer unless you're doing IndyCar stuff and you're 240 miles an hour. Zero toe does nothing for you on the straight line.
Yeah,
but your stability is what we're looking for in that lateral G.
Yeah, we're at 60 thou in on each side of the rear. That's the absolute minimum we're at right now.
Yeah, so
we can't go any lower. So I'll go to 0.12 or thereabouts.
Yep, copy that.
We're gonna do this
Square
all based
setup,
on what we would do in real life. So assuming
that this is the way I'm
at
looking at it too. I know nothing of iRacing. This is joining the club here has been a great experience. Greg and I, we do geek out on some car stuff and everything else, but I'm really enjoying this to see what my practice is. Does it apply directly? Also, of course, the competitive nature of Greg and I is we want to win.
Yes, we do.
So
we don't know any other way. It's hardwired into us whether we want to or not. So, all right, we're at about 120 thou in on each side.
What's the fronts? Front toe?
Total toe is 70 thou out.
Let's go a little bit heavier on that too.
Okay.
Long straightaways, the tires will cool off.
What do you say we go to, like 80 or 100?
Something like exactly. I was thinking 90 or 100. Go ahead.
Go 90.
100%. Go 90. Copy that.
All right. And then we are also possibly talking about a rear spring change. We're on the softer side right now, which helps with traction, but I'm not afraid of moving
I was thinking
around.
Also about front spring change because I wanted to change direction faster. We were around some of the Ferraris and they were just so nimble compared to the Mercedes. I know that the engine's up front.
Yep.
I know that we've got a big massive lump to move around. So I actually would like to try front spring change if we can first.
Okay. The fronts are at 2,000 pounds per inch and the rear is at 1,280 pounds per inch.
Can we go up or down? Where are we at in the front?
I think we have plenty of adjustment either direction.
All right.
We can go maximum 2280 on the front.
Oh, so you're already up there.
We're way up there. We can go 2 notches higher, and then we can go 3. It looks like 3 down from where we are, all the way down to 14.
Just go 1 notch higher, just for now.
We're 21 in the front, and then we're at 1280 in the rear.
The rear I'm going to leave because we already got the toe, and we're going to play around with other things.
Okay.
Camber's the other thing that I was thinking about because Greg complained about mid-corner grip, but we didn't differentiate between low speeds, high speeds, and everything else. So I starting to zone in on camber if we're maximizing, but I'm going to leave that alone and leave it
Okay.
square. If we have to find a little something, it's going to really necessitate, is it a low speed corner or a high speed corner that we
Yeah.
have to pull camber out or put camber in. You dropped the rear on ride height last time?
Yeah, I'm just gonna level us off so that we're as low as we can in the front. We were as low as possible. When you change the spring, it changes your ride height also. So I'm just gonna
Oh.
bring us back to the lowest front end ride height, I think.
Yeah, so I was a little bit worried about the super low front end on the low speed
Okay.
corners.
Okay.
All
So you
right,
want to raise
so
this back up
yeah, so where was our front end
before?
relative numbers?
I might have to go back on the setup.
That's okay. Just move it.
We'll go back to approximately where we were before.
Yeah.
How about that?
So on the low speed corner washout,
Yep.
being too low, you don't have the driving G-force to roll the car. So
Right.
you got to do it naturally. Raise the car up, let it roll over on itself on the low speed corners.
Yep.
It's going to play with you on the high speed corners. It'll be a little bit slower to respond, but I'm sure I've watched you drive. I'm sure you'll pick that up. No problem.
I can adapt.
You got it.
Camper, we're at minus 3.9 in the front and minus 3.1 in the rear symmetrical.
Yeah, I'm fine with that right now until we hone in on some more stuff.
Do you want to make? Well, I guess the front spring change isn't enough to warrant a damper change.
No,
Maybe we
no.
can do that
Again,
secondarily.
we're doing enough. Let's start here. I think that's a great movement. Let's see if she responds.
Okay.
That's the big thing is, you and I are no dummies on this. Sometimes you make mistakes and you got to
Yeah.
go back and go the opposite way.
Yeah. What's really nice is that of course, the beauty with sim racing is that I saved our setup from before, so I click on back where we started.
Love it.
So,
And we don't have to set the mechanics out for another hour or two to put it all back together.
I'm already driving right now with this setup.
Love it. All right, let's give it a couple of laps. Open mic, just keep talking if you feel anything.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Let's go, guys.
Let's do this. So starting out on cold tires, so I would really, before I make any real determinations on my feel or give you true feedback, Angelo, I want to do at least one flyer before I even have enough heat to really be able to make a decision. Oh, I can already say it feels sharper in the front end for sure. Want to get some heat into it, and I'll try to make a determination as quickly as we can here on this.
Copy that. You're on the pro driver status, so basically, like you said, 2 laps, get comfortable, get the tires in, and then that's your flyer, your baseline lap. And it's not about pushing the speed, about what the car does for you that you like or don't like.
Yeah,
you already turned in too early once, but that's okay.
Yeah, it definitely turns in differently, which I'm trying to already identify what it's going to do. Even on cold tires, I can make some sort of determination with that.
Okay. Go to it. I'll shut up and let's see what you got.
It's definitely less nervous in the rear on the way in. I just got to predict that a little bit better. Good. That's good. But I'll shut up and drive. I got to get heat in before I really make a decision here. Oh yeah, cold tires. Fortunately, with Spa, what we've had to deal with in the past with qualifying is that we get one outlap to put enough heat in our tires to start a flyer, and usually the tracks are too short for that to get out of this prototype's way. Usually the tracks are so short that by the time you start your flyer, your tires are still ice cold, and you just have to drive around that issue. Well, Spa, being 4.5 miles long, you get enough time to put heat in your tires, so it's actually nice that when you start your flyer, you've got the tires actually feel pretty darn good. They're not perfectly operating temperature, but they're close enough that you can drive like they are. Pretty close on high speed. All right, front tires are in the mid 150s, rears are in the low 150s. So a little bit more, we'll be close.
Are you determining the heat just off feel, or are you looking at something on your dash? Because I see you got your PSI. Is that temp that's right next to them?
Yeah, so the top row and the bottom row are
Got
the
it.
pressures, and then the interior numbers are the temperatures and I presume Fahrenheit. Hopefully we're not at 150 C. That would be a bad day on tires.
The Porsche doesn't show it like that. It's just so crazy that they actually make it legit to the car. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's information you would have in the real car. Modern race cars, at least rules allowing, do have very, very accurate tire pressure and temperature monitoring sensors. Some really high-level stuff. They actually have tire tread, like laser sensors, where they're actually looking at the carcass temperature in real time, which is super cool if you're a data geek like Angelo and I. Useless for a driver, but cool for the engineers. But just the core temperature and pressures is nice for a driver to know where the tires actually are at a given point in time. So, all right, temps are feeling pretty good now. I think I've already felt a little bit of the differences with the turn-in response. I think we are a little limited. No, the front end's there and high-speed stuff. We haven't changed the aero balance at all, which I like. And it's much... Yeah, I like the front end now, Angelo. It's a little bit sharper and more planted. It's not falling over anywhere with that spring change. And I don't know that I don't know that I feel the rear toe, but I don't feel it doing anything adverse.
Copy that. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Stabilize the front on the spring. The rear is going to get stability, but you're not going to notice it. It's big, like, oh my God, it's now pushes like really bad on the way out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just focus on what you got. Like I said, little setup changes. It'll throw off your timing a little bit, as you know. Have fun. Give me a couple of laps.
Yeah, I want at least one more flyer here to make it true. I'm figuring it out right now, but I want one to push where I can see what the limitations are.
Marching ants, you got nobody behind you. Focus in front.
Okay. Oh, that was just the wrong line. Trying to figure out the turn-in response. Oh, got a black flag for shortcutting, so I got to give up some time here. Okay. It feels way more predictable and stuff like that right there, where we're transitioning back and forth a whole lot. That part I really like.
Very good, very good.
Smooth.
One of the big things that we always laugh about, and actually learned the statement from the Penske shock engineers and stuff, was driver confidence. All you got to do is build driver confidence, and he will go faster. Kidding. There's a lot more involved, but hearing words like that come from you is really important, like going through the S's or what have you, or Eau Rouge or something like that.
Yeah, give the driver what he needs. Even though an alien might be able to drive it, the person who's in the car is the one who is driving it at that moment, so give them what they need to go fast. It does push a little bit from mid out on power, which I'm trying to adapt with my driving style. I would just like more front end on power. So I don't know if that's a front rebound or rear compression or what it is we do to keep the car carving on power would be really nice.
And Drive Trainer DT said he loves the setup, and NC saying he loves knowing how these changes feel, and the driver of the vehicle, it amazes him. So he would love to be as good as you guys.
Oh, please, dude. I know we've met before. It's been a little while. We got to reconnect at some point. I think you're in Orlando. I think that's where you are. You're welcome here anytime. We'd love to reconnect. We follow what you guys do on Instagram all the time. So, yeah, thanks for watching and tuning in.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I want to do one more time through Eau Rouge here, because I screwed it up last time.
Yeah, big time. Copy that.
And then I'll box at the end of this lap. But I think I
Copy that. I'm on the same page. Go ahead, box next lap.
Let's do Eau Rouge right this time.
Driver trainer, yeah, it's only taken 25 years to work through setup and changes and understand what they all do. It's really important. It's stuff that we love, solving the most unsolvable equation. and put a guy behind the wheel and say, all right, go fast.
What I love about racing is that you have this crazy machine that we're all tuning and trying to find very small fractions of a second and everything, and then you put the most variable thing on the planet in the driver's seat, a human being, and then you try to make the two things work together. And I think that's the beauty of motorsports. I've talked about it with Jeff Brown a good bit, another engineer that I hugely respect who's been doing it for a long time and done some really cool things. Is it still racing if there aren't humans in the cars anymore? And I think the answer we came to is technically yes, but no one would be interested in watching. So the human element is the fun part with this whole thing.
Boxing and fighting, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, I did watch something really cool. Listen. Jeff's podcast with Ross Bentley and everything else on my way to Mid-Ohio. Really love those guys. Big shout out to the race engineers and the driver coaches out there. Makes my life a little bit nicer. Every now and then you realize that you're not crazy in the things that you do in a race car.
Yeah. Daphne, can we put the link to that podcast? It's called It's Not the Car podcast. Should be available on all podcast platforms. If we can find that link, if not, I'll drop it in the comments afterwards. But the podcast I really enjoy listening to. I think I've submitted questions to them before. It's kind of a follow-up to Ross's No Dumb Questions podcast, which I've had a number of my questions featured on. But if we can find the link for that so everyone else can watch it, that would be awesome. All right. I gotta say I like it. I would like a little bit more front end in a couple situations, but without compromising the rear.
Well, let's park this thing and let's run through a real quick debrief.
Sure.
All right. What's the best? What's the worst?
The best, I really like. It's much sharper and it's much more predictable in transitioning stuff. It doesn't feel like the weights. It's not taking time to respond and then the tires go and then the chassis follows. It feels like it's much more together now and predictable.
Good.
And linear with response.
Good.
It was much easier for me to drive.
What's the worst?
I think mechanical and like low speed and high speed stuff. I want a little bit more front end, but I don't want this thing to be sketchy on old tires.
What's the rear bar?
Here, let's pull it
and
up.
rear spring.
The rear spring I know offhand is 1286 pounds.
Yep, I remember that before.
And then, so front bar, just by comparison, we're at, from a scale of 1 to 6, we're on a 3, with 6 being the stiffest.
Copy that.
And then the rear bar, from 1 to 7, we're at 5, which is usually where I run with this car.
So let's go up rear spring.
Okay, I think that would be, I would agree with that. The one thing I'll also say with power down, as I know as we go stiffer, it's going to have a harder time putting the power down. I'm okay with that, and I can manage that with traction control. And
well, what I was going to do is I was going to go up on the spring a little bit and then drop that bar a little bit more on the rear.
Okay.
From 5 to 3.
I like that.
I'm going to rob from Peter to pay Paul.
Okay, so we're going to go from, do you want to go from 1280 to 1430?
One step up, yep.
Okay, and then we'll go from 5 to 3?
Yep.
And then we can go to 4 if we need to add it back in. So let's do that. I'm going to save that again. And then we'll give that a try. The one thing I was saying that with traction that I would like a little bit is that it feels like I can manage traction loss with my right foot, traction controller really well. It feels like it wanders a lot on power, which I can catch. It just doesn't feel efficient. I would prefer to just go out consistently with a nice
wander.
It's just the car's pointing left and right a lot, and I can manage it if it just goes sideways and steps out consistently linearly, and I can catch it. I would like that. I have a hard time like committing to power, and I'm like catching it with the wheel back and forth, like this drift thing.
So that inconsistency sometimes is diff.
Okay.
A little bit of setup.
Fairly open on diff right now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Should I try this first?
Try this first. Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Again,
I think we have enough time here. We can still have 12 minutes. Should be enough time.
So do your 3 laps, do your thing,
Okay.
and then we'll debrief again.
Okay.
Yeah, good job on staying on it. In regards to the time, I was going to remind you that we need to register for the race server. Don't make a more podiums mistake of waiting to get in for your second race of the week and you don't get an invite to race, and it's because you find out that you forgot to click the button.
Oh, that's right. We're not in the race lobby. All right. Well, thank you for pointing that out. After this change, we'll move over to the race lobby, and then if we have time, we'll do some diff change stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't even be afraid of going a little tighter on the diff, or not even having time to test it. I know how that's gonna the car behave. Oh, cold tires.
Is that what I need to say whenever I brake too late?
What's that?
Oh, cold tires.
Cold tires. Blame it on
I
the
think
tires.
that's usually when you slide off the track. Oh, cold tires. One of the great stories we had was we used to come down here to Florida 20 years, start out with the Winter Nationals for SCCA, and we show up at Sebring after leaving the cold and blustery New York, and it was cold at Sebring. And on the mic, the engineer, I was only a mechanic at the time, says to the driver, remember, cold tires. And over the mic we get, too late.
Oh no.
He's already in the wall. Yeah. So.
Was that Al or who was that?
Yeah, that was Al Jr.
Oh,
Jr.
Sorry, Al.
No. We put the car right back together. You know,
Okay.
Made it out the next day. Thrashed a little bit, but it was fun and funny. You know, it catches everybody. Cold tires. You know.
Yeah. Easy to forget sometimes. Shane has a
For
hard
you
time
guys, yes.
Yeah, Shane has a hard time with it now because he's been so spoiled of running in Europe with tire blankets.
Tire warmers.
Where they sometimes
Cheaters.
come out hotter than they will ever be when you're driving. They would take him out of the blankets at Spa, and it was hailing at 2 degrees C, and
Yeah.
all they would do is go down in temperature from there.
Yeah. You better turn your fast lap now.
Yeah, you better not slow down.
Polar opposite to what we have.
But yeah, I feel the power down difference. Just gonna have to modulate differently. I can make that work. Still letting them build temperature now.
Yeah, but is that taking some of the pressure off the front?
Yeah.
And then you know the big joke, did we gain any time, lose any time?
Yeah.
I'd love to see sectors and things like that, but I don't know if I'll have time to full debrief till after the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna,
okay. Well,
all right. Doesn't like that.
does not like that. That was that's the first time I've done that. That was just, it got so sideways that the TC came in and pulled all my power away.
Yeah, I saw it watching it.
Yeah. All right, I'll try that with a little bit of a lift. That's not happened to me on a. I don't know if we're just saturating the rears because we're overloading because of how stiff it is.
Yep. So guess what? We've got to go opposite way, and then we've got to figure out that. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Good feedback. Don't throw it into the wall.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful recovery, though. Good job on keeping the car stable.
Yeah, thank you. That would have been a Code Brown in real life. Maybe a little Code Brown right now, but I'm okay.
Can we check the heart rate?
There was a little bit of a tick up there.
Yeah, still cool at 92. Nothing phases Greg. He's rock solid.
Until I crash into prototypes with 2 laps to go. That feels good. I don't know that I feel much of a change with the front response. It might take me more time to feel that one. I'm not feeling a totally different car with the rear spring. It's a little harder to put power down, for sure. I'm just having to adapt my right foot for that. So,
Copy that.
Let's
As
put a
happens with a lot of race engineering, you've got to make a change. Put 2 points on the line, and then figure out which way you need to go. That's what we just did.
yeah.
So we can confidently, even if we had to go race right now, pull the spring back out, go to the other side of the spring, and start tuning other things.
Yeah, I'm going to box now, and we're going to move
Yeah,
over to the race
copy
end.
that. Yep, let's do that. Priority 1.
Before
What
you
do
head
you
out,
think?
don't forget to broadcast.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'll just stop here short and get out. Angela, what do you think about going... We went 2 clicks on the rear sway bar softer. What do you think about going 1 click stiffer to kind of offset that change we made a little bit?
I think I want to try the other side of the spring. I think I want to go down in the spring.
Okay.
I can put the bar back up.
Okay. Do that. All right, moving to the race lobby. We've got...
Join the race. Don't forget, push the button.
7 minutes. I'll figure it out in qualifying. I'm not worried about that part. All right, so 98 people signed up for this. We'll get enough time to try throw us a change at this thing, hopefully, and then we just got to redo our fuel real quick.
I think 98 might be the biggest lobby that we've had so far this season.
Yeah?
Garrett, what do you think? 98 in lobby for the nighttime race? Do you think that's the largest field that we've seen? Yeah, 98.
Yeah. I think the sessions are capped at 45 total, so that's at least 3 splits now. I don't know their algorithm for how they split that up. I know obviously it's based on iRating, but how many get to each one? Hopefully there's not a race lobby with 2 people in it. Yeah, if we go softer, I mean, that'll obviously help power down, but talk to me about how that's going to feel and how that you think that may feel in a corner and what to look for me as we try this out, Angelo.
I'm running through some iterations in my head. Like I said, mid-corner gave up the ghost a little bit on the front end. Which corners? High speed or low speed? I know, tough.
It's tough. I still want a little bit more in like Pujon, which is like the double long duration fast left-hander arrow. Mechanical feels like the low speed stuff feels fine. It still feels very predictable.
Yep.
And I'm just suffering a little bit on power down, which again I can adapt to. It just was not a positive change in that direction, which I think we expected.
Yeah, so which we knew we gained stability on the rear toe, and that's going to hurt us in driving the front tires off of the car, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're going to overpower the fronts a little bit. I want to see if we could bounce it on spring. That we determined no. Didn't like the spring on Rouge. Was too much. Go ahead and drop the springs back down.
We're going to go down.
Yeah, let's go the other side of it.
Fly, and then we want to go back to the bar, back to 5 on the rear bar.
Copy that.
Okay. And then I think the other thing we may need to consider
front
is
bar.
Front bar? Yeah, where do you want it?
Was it at 6?
We were at 3.
At 3.
The whole time. We have not changed that yet.
We went up in spring. Let's go down 1 on the bar. I don't think it's going to do much, though.
The 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And
looking for that mid-corner just to keep sticking a little bit.
What should I do with ride heights? Like we just changed the spring and we did not change the effective ride height. So softer, the rear should be lower.
Yeah, so that's right. I'd like to start back exactly where we were, if not a little bit higher.
Yeah, okay. Let's just leave it alone for the
Leave it alone. Yeah, go ahead. No worries. Listen, this is just like real life, guys. This happens every day.
Mm-hmm.
In pit lane, back at the garage, we've got 22 minutes and we're going out.
Yeah, we've got no time. We're throwing changes at this thing.
Yeah, it's all right.
Throwing stuff at it.
Love working
with you. This is how races are won. This is fun.
All right, deep breath. Let's focus in front. Let's see what we got.
We've got 3 minutes. I think we're going to have 1 attempt at this, and then we're just going to have to...
Copy that. And remember, cold tires.
Yes. I can drive whatever we have. I'm just looking for something that does a little bit more here.
You think you got a little bit more raw speed in this thing or what from before?
I think so. Change? I think a couple laps into the race, I'm going to feel a lot better about adapting to everything also.
Copy that.
It just feels more predictable with the front end, which is definitely a big help.
Yeah, good. All right, cold tires. Let's go to it. Let's see what we got. If you feel comfortable in talking through each corner once you're up to speed, let me know. Because I'll be looking at the track map as well.
Yep. So other strategy thing, Angelo, just so you know what our plan is. Garrett's got this all figured out for us already, but we start with about a medium fuel load on the car. That's the maximum we're actually allowed to carry. So 14 gallons or 53 liters. What we start with. We're going to add 35 is what we said, right, Garrett? You there, Garrett?
What was that, sorry?
We're going to add 35 liters in the middle of the race is what we determined from earlier, right?
Yep, that was it. 35. Because 33 ran a little bit close. We sputtered across the line.
Yeah, we had to do some big fuel savings, so we're going to add a little bit more. So the other big thing that I'm open to changing on the fly during the race, ideally, I know this is not what we do in real life, Angelo, but just making use of the time for the refueling time, we can get 2 tires essentially for free while the car is fueling. If we take all 4, it's just you're sitting burning another 7-8 seconds that you do not recover with having 2 more tires. So what we've been doing lately is we just take outside tires, front and rear. I know it's asymmetrical, but it helps with the tendency of the car, so we're not losing. We take fronts, then the rear is going to suffer late in the race, or vice versa. If I'm really struggling with the front or the rear, I'm open to just taking fronts or just rears to compensate for the middle of the race. But ideally, I would love to take just left sides, so that the wear and drag and balance
Yeah,
our tendency is
copy
symmetrical.
that. The junior racing that we do, cars really do not like doing just fronts or just rears, so we will always go outside tires pretty much. I mean, it's 90% of our game.
Yeah,
We find that it just overgrips the front or the rear, unless you really have a setup issue and you destroyed the fronts or destroyed the rears.
yeah.
Agreed. Oh, we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, and we can compensate otherwise. But and it also makes it a bit easier to drive when we leave pit lane. That we at least have one side of the car with hot tires to save us a little bit.
Copy that. All right, folks in front, give me some feedback.
Whoa. Okay, so that cannot be flat. Interesting. I wonder if we're bottoming there. I would have to lift
Copy
it.
that.
There's no way
Yeah.
around that one.
Could we be bottoming? Yep.
Heads up, race session is about to start.
Okay. I mean, I can adapt with that. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt us down the straightaway, but I like what the car does the rest of the way. So, all right, well, let's move over to the race lobby. I can adapt to that. That's not a big deal.
We can raise the whole car, keep the same rake, just a little bit. I think the front spring will hold it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's bottoming. I didn't hear it bottom. It just to me,
Felt like it just went to zero.
it felt like the grip went away. Like it just fell away because we saturated the tire.
But camber. Which part of En Rouge were you? Bottom.
I was in the compression, bending the car
Yep.
to the right, and it just saturated the rear. Just went away from me.
So the joke is En Rouge is something stupid like 3Gs down, 3Gs lateral.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's an extreme loading.
It's an extreme loading condition. So rear camber, if we had to, I'd probably tick it up a little bit more.
Okay.
If we have time.
I can. We have like 30 seconds to go drive the car, but not even enough to get heat in the tires to do anything.
Don't even worry about going out then. Let's make the change.
I can drive the car the way it is. And frankly, the tires still weren't up all the way. I was just trying to send it on what we had.
Okay.
I'll be conservative in the race that we ease into that and we see what we have there.
Okay.
Let
me
just.
The pressure's killing me. I want to make changes.
I know.
Come on, give me 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. So what I'm just going to do for qualifying is take that setup, and we're just going to run it as is, just with taking as much fuel out as we can. And the way I normally do these, we have an out lap. The first lap is a conservative flyer, and the second one is if we bank the first one and it lands and it's all a valid lap time, then I'll go a little bit more elbows out and really try to squeeze some more time out of it. Or do you
have time for rear wing change?
Yes, that I can do very quickly, but let me just save this set up for qual so we have something ready to rock.
Yep.
We need every minute of qualifying because we get 8
I know that.
to do it.
I love you.
So, all right, so I know we did it on 13 before, and that was not enough. I'm going to just quickly do this on 15, so we're safe, and we're not going to run out. Am I carrying a few pounds extra? Yes, but I'm going to live with it right now. All right, so what should we do with the rear wing? It feels aero.
You're in En Rouge. It's compression. It's right rear camber and aero.
Well, the thing I'm wondering is if we went back from 4 to 5 on the rear wing.
Yeah, copy that, 100%.
That might.
I'd love 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 would be great.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's a change we make for the race to make this thing just drivable and just
go 5. Yep.
I think that's what we're going to do. That's what I think is the safe decision.
Sure.
I don't think it's bottoming, or it might be saturating the rear, or it's just too much of a compression going on.
We can raise the whole car a couple of mil.
Yeah, we got a couple of settings here. Let me change the race setup really quick. All right, we're good to go with this. Need to do quali here in a second. It barely give you enough time to be able to complete the laps that you need to for quali, so we're going to need every bit of this. They give you 8 minutes, but it takes 30 seconds for you to be able to join the session. So really get 7.5. So I got to go right away here.
Cold tires, warm them up.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I could say, unfortunately, again, because this place is so long, that we need to kind of send it on the outlap to be able to finish the second flyer in time before time expires.
That's copy. You got to run them
Which
hard
is-
to get that temp up.
Yeah. I'll bank a lap, and then we'll find out if that wing change is what we needed in Eau Rouge, one way or the other. I mean, it's definitely a race car. It feels pretty good. It's going to be a balancing act of putting it all together. So that'll be the fun part. Oh, I also think we're top split tonight, boys. I see a 7.8K in GTP and an 8.6 in our class. So we're really going to be hurting against those guys.
All right, do the best we can.
Yeah, but I love racing with the best guys out here tonight, so that part's also fun.
Absolutely. You know, that podcast we were talking about with Jeff and the guys, one of the things that rang true is a race engineer sitting in pit lane is the worst thing in the world. Put me out in a corner, let's see what the car does. That's why I actually like running through the views, be it iRacing or Assetto Corsa. You get all the different camera angles. You can see the difference relatively compared to the other chassis out there. See where you might be suffering or not. It's still a relative game.
Yeah.
You know, what your car can do versus the other cars.
Yeah. It actually, I got to say, even on cold tires, maybe it's just because we're not carrying as much weight, but it feels much better than the high-speed stuff right now. Hard to say, but...
Well, that's my driver's input. When I walked in, he told me some changes, and he said the 1 degree difference was really big on the rear end, so we're going back to that.
All right, we're going to set up a fast one here. All right, let's see what we got here. And he blows the first corner. Too deep on the brakes, but it's not going to cost that badly because I still got a good exit here. Going to do a small lift in Eau Rouge so we don't ruin it on the first lap. Oh, that actually felt really good. I feel like I had a little overhead there.
Look real good. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I felt comfortable. I'm okay with it floating around a little bit there. It did a lot in the last race. That was planted. That didn't even move.
Good job.
Car feels great right now, if I'm being totally honest. I could totally race this thing. Not at all worried.
Focus in front. Shut up.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
Having a good banter with your driver is really important. Sometimes it takes a few years to build the candor, the laughter, the inflection.
It really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, Greg and I only known each other in a racing environment like this for a little bit, but I think we speak the same speak.
Yeah, we speak the same language, for sure. All right, let's see if we can stick this thing flat. Nope,
Nope.
not gonna
Look,
do it.
curb touch. Definitely got a little upset there. I'd have to watch it again.
I mean, I normally charge that entry curb. I'm gonna just drive so I can learn here the rest of this lap. The lap's thrown away at this point. At 21.2 is unfortunately not a stellar lap, so we're gonna have a race to drive forward, which is fun. No, I mean, I charged that curb on the left on the entry. That's normal. And I was tried to be as smooth as I could as the inputs and the correction and the compression to the right, but it really felt like it did the same as before. So I wonder if I wish we had more time to try some different things here, because the setup I had earlier.
Yeah, Garrett and I are actually reviewing the video. One of the wonders of modern technology. Yeah, so it's got a little second hit on the way down through the compression. If the video is correct and everything else, it loses it on the very, very bottom.
Okay.
So basically, joke is we need to start introducing dampers and start looking at things. We're at that level. But that outer curb hits fine and clear, but there's a second wiggle after that, and that's when you lose it.
Okay, so what would you recommend as a driver to do to just work around that? Do I just...
So right now, if again, we've got no time for changes, getting around, try to minimize, try to find the smoothest part of the track, try to minimize some of the curb strike or where it's at loading up.
Okay.
All right. Also be mindful of your hands, because if you're loaded up in the rear end wiggling, if you're hard right, if you can relax the wheel a little bit, kind of like Lime Rock going up over the hill.
Yep.
Relax your hands a little bit. She won't bind up as much in the rear.
Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna, I think, require a lift, which is fine. I'm just gonna box because there's nothing to bring this home for.
Copy that. Hey Garrett, thanks. I didn't even think about it. You know, usually got to wait for the chip to come out of the camera, somebody to decompress it, and us to find it. So gotta love the instantaneous results sometimes.
Yeah. Right.
Also, since you're pitting, Geologic would like to know, is the CP Coming Home Tour going to be hosted at the club? We need a plebes versus the boys sim day.
Who's that?
Geologic.
Oh, I just wonder if that's one of the guys on the team. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. CP Racing is all welcome here. I think we're gonna have to fly some guys in from Germany for that one to happen. But yeah, we would love to play host for that one, of course.
We just request the finest of Hefeweizens whenever you boys come over, please.
Yes, done.
Greg,
Who is that that's talking now? Or who's
make any
Geologic?
changes?
You're someone on the team. I know that. What's changes?
I do.
What do you want to do? We have 30 seconds.
I know. I want to raise the whole car up a millimeter or two, and I don't want to take that left rear camber and just give it a little bit more. So if it's at 3.3,
12, 25. All right, so there's 2 clicks.
left rear camber, give me some more.
Let me raise the front.
Yep. Thank you.
2 clicks all around should be about mil. And then how much? What do you say with camber?
Camber, just 0.2 of a degree. Give me something more on that left rear. Instead of 3.2, go up.
3.3 or 3.4. We are
Yep.
3.2.
3.4, fine.
Fine.
Copy that.
Save it. Go to grid. Let's drive this thing.
Let's drive it.
And
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget
All
to let people know how to watch this. So if we have the boys with us,
All right, we're on the chat. Go back to grid. All right. So 49 cars in tonight's session, so almost 50. What I can only assume is the top split. I didn't get to see what the qualifying times were like, but surely faster than whatever we did.
you got it. Stay calm. We just did changes right before the race start.
Mhm.
It's a long race.
Yeah, we're going to make this work. This is going to be fun.
We got it.
Mm-hmm. Got another Mercedes out here, which I love to see. Makes me feel like I'm not crazy for driving this thing.
I hate to say it, the entire field's looking mostly like Ferraris, and there's an Audi behind you. But other than that, there's only one Mercedes.
Darn.
Yeah.
Those Ferraris are pretty quick.
The Porsches are always a force to be reckoned with, too.
Yeah.
So it is what it
All right.
is. All right, looks like the GTP field is about to roll off. Let's be ready. Make sure, Garrett, you have all your pit stop stuff
Everything's
correct.
all set for the crew chief.
As we always do, what we try to do for the pit stops is time it so that we pit right as the GTP field comes through. Probably the first time or the second time, depending. We have to just make sure we can take an entire full fuel load. We have enough room in the tank for it. So it might be the second time they come through or on the P2s, but try to dump into the pits right before the prototype field comes through to avoid all that chaos. So,
Well, the setup changes, you know, you got to feel confident. Even though we're back here, it doesn't matter. It's a long race.
oh
If we
yeah,
got something we can drive the wheels off of, we're going to pass a lot of people.
yeah.
Here we come. Let's go.
There's always some carnage. We're probably about to go green any second here. Green or green. Let's go. All right. Go to the inside for this chicane. Whoa, tight. No room. All right, might have given up a position just trying to survive there, but all right. The late lunge by that Porsche. Let's go to work. All right, definitely not flying Eau Rouge this time, I can tell you that much.
Not at 120 on attempt.
No. Much as these race starts are definitely stressful because the field is all packed together, the thing I can at least rest easy about is knowing that there's not...
Accident ahead.
Yep, thank you. There's not a prototype that's going to drill me from behind for at least 2 laps. That's always nice.
Yeah. For the viewers, down to take bets on the heart rate. I'm going to lock in at a 125.
It still looks like the Ferrari is untouchable. Somehow.
Even the Audi seems really fast today.
Yeah.
I think the Mercedes just got absolutely shafted with BOP this week.
Yeah. I don't know how often they're making their BOP changes, but...
It feels almost weekly, honestly. And this
Yeah.
was the only car that got updated this week.
Yeah. The Mercedes was the only car updated?
The only car that got updated this week was the Mercedes.
Interesting. It is better on power down, which helps, even on not fully hot tires.
Again, that rear toe, just trying to dig it in. We got a little bit softer spring, so both of those complement each other on this low-speed sections.
Yep. Not going to go flat this time in Eau Rouge. Just a little bit closer, I think. Trying to be really careful at that compression spot there because I'm expecting
Yeah,
it to
copy that.
go
And
wrong.
That's
Felt
why we
nervous
added that
that time.
camber on that left rear, so that contact patch hopefully is a little bit broader for us.
Nothing I can do about this Porsche.
BOP.
I mean, I know you had the draft, but the draft that they have on me is not the same that I have on them, so Mercedes ain't paying their BOP points to iRacing this week, it seems like. Oh, something going on up here. Please don't reach me.
Literally.
mean, again, I'm no alien, and this is the top split, so I'm getting humbled right now. But I feel like there's more in this car. I wish we had more time, Angela, to play with stuff like this.
I'm watching the helicopter view. It's not bad. It's looking pretty good. We got the little portion in front of us, so your line looks good. A little bit early, a couple of spots, nothing bad.
Okay. Yeah, let me know what you see. I'm glad to make changes with what I'm doing. I will say that this car does feel better than the car I raced earlier today, for sure. More predictable, and I feel more confident with it, aside from Eau Rouge.
Yeah, it's odd that we messed that one up, but we definitely will work on it again. Right now, I want to bank on that confidence and see if we can pick up some time from where we were before. Again, the aliens up front, not worried about that. It's about personal best right now.
Yep. Still not comfortable going. That was closer, I think.
Again, look smooth, look good.
Yeah. Normally, I think what I had to do there before was a really aggressive turn into the compression to get the car to change direction.
Copy that, and you might be just over flicking it.
Yeah. Whereas now I'm trying to be much smoother in that transition, and it seems to respond fine. I just got to be very delicate with the steering there. Which,
Copy that.
makes sense considering a stiffer front end.
Yep.
Moderate aero push, but predictable and safe. There.
That's the 4 versus the 5 on the rear wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whoa! Move on the outside there, Chief. That was aggressive. Not in a place that made any sense whatsoever.
Seems to be a trend in our races today.
Yeah.
Good job. Stay calm. You got it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now I'm going to have some aero wash there, so I took it a little safer.
Heads up,
Yeah.
the GTP field is about 15 seconds out. They're starting to approach.
Copy. Where was the draft on him that he had on me?
It's not there.
Not there.
You didn't pay enough for it.
Yeah. Mercedes didn't pay enough for it.
Is that how that goes?
Something like that.
You tell me racing's political?
Oh.
Oh, really? Who would have guessed?
No, never in a million years. It's only
There's no chance
massive,
of it.
multi-billion-dollar corporations fighting each other. Literally fighting each other. Oh, and the other Mercedes is behind me. Okay, no, that tells me everything I need to know. Don't make a move here. This is not the place to do it.
GTP's approaching.
Copy.
3.5 seconds.
Wow, that's aggressive, but I can't do anything about that. Wow. I guess we're just moving backwards tonight, fellas.
3 prototypes. What on you?
Yep.
One more.
Okay.
One more prototype. Or 3 more.
That prototype caught me in a very dangerous spot. Okay.
One prototype. About to pass. Two more prototypes approaching.
Copy.
GTPs. One's up top here now, the other one's behind the Porsche.
Copy. I think that was a Pepe livery on the Acura there.
GCP and the P2 approaching.
Copy. Copy.
Another
Take a breath.
GTP, 2 seconds back.
Copy. Feeling more confident there with every lap.
Excellent. All clear 1,000 yards. Let's focus in front. Greg, let's give me a little bit, 2% less brakes, a little bit more speed. Let's see if we can put some laps down.
Copy.
Outside.
Yep, I see him. I don't know how he can go that much faster on the outside from me. I just don't understand how that's possible. I'm not making excuses. I don't know how their
I'm
car
blaming the race engineer. It can't be the driver.
Never the driver.
P2's approaching.
I mean, if it's me and I'm doing something wrong, I want to know what it is.
That's what had me worried when we walked in. You know, just all the other cars just handled so much more crisp, and the place where they were gaining speed was just insane. Mid-corner stuff was just monstrously different.
Yeah, they're offline rolling faster than I can when I'm online.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
what I saw.
contest. There's nothing I
Yeah,
can do.
yeah.
I could be more aggressive to defend, but it's just going to delay and be inevitable.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to play around with setup, see if we can find something else on this Mercedes.
Yeah. And again, I'm always all for knowing what I'm doing wrong and that I can improve on. And I know I'm not perfect and I'm a little inconsistent, but this is a big enough of a grip difference that I don't know.
3 PTs approaching.
Maybe I just need to be humbled. Thank you for waiting, Mr. P2, because that would have been a very dangerous move to make. Okay. Just straight up hit me from behind. Really?
2 more PTs behind you.
Copy. Just drilled me from behind. Saw me coming and hit me anyway. Cool.
Yeah, the real world attitude really bothers me sometimes, as far as what these guys do and what moves they make. It's just not cool.
The 3,000. The guy
Yeah.
has a 3,000 I rating. Third place, willing to ruin his own race just to make a point.
No, it made no sense. Absolutely no sense.
Okay. Top split of
Let's
iRacing.
just focus up. He just ruined his race. Right, we still got ours.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't make no sense to me.
They can make poor choices, but we can just focus on ours.
Yeah. About 1 lap away, we could take our pit stop, but it would not make sense to, so I'm gonna wait till the GTP field gets close to us.
One more PTs behind us.
Yep. He turned me around. Really? That's really not appreciated.
That was all on him. He literally just went right into you.
Am I clear to rejoin?
Looking clear.
Okay.
He didn't even bother to try to go around. He just went straight into you and spun you around. That was all on him. We can report him for that. There was no attempt to even go around.
Yeah, so this reality side of me, just I look at it, guys, come on. What are we doing here?
Are they upset that I'm online running my own race?
No clue. It's inexcusable when considering this is top split. They
We all
know
have to share
better.
the racetrack. Try that in real life. You would get banned from IMSA if you did something like that, or even came close to doing that.
Yeah, there's no reset button in real life, as you and I know, Greg.
It is
And,
the burden of the prototype drivers to get around GTs, just because they're more maneuverable than I am. So, all right, I'm going to focus forward here. We're still in the same position, just a whole much bigger gap here, but I'm going to focus forward. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support so far.
You got
we're
it.
trying, kiddo, we're trying.
It's all good. Top split. We're doing the real thing now. Got to get humbled here.
Heck yeah, I love it.
Can only get better from here. Car does feel good. We might be nursing some very light damage. It's hard for me to say, but not really changing what I'm doing as a result.
No, I don't think there was any major damage. Like I said, he just rubbed you at the apex and just pushed you right around. Obviously, he doesn't know where the front splitter is.
Yeah. All right, we're going to box next lap. It looks like the timing will work out nicely, that the GTPs will be right on top of us when we come to pit lane next time.
Copy that.
I think that's a good call, if you guys would agree. I'm going to drive a bit more conservatively because I'm kind of in no man's land, so I'm not going to do anything that throws the race away at this point. I think would be the right call. Whew.
You got it, Greg. Just keep pushing.
You got it. On the discussion of tires at the stop, car feels like it's going off equally, both ends, so I'm comfortable with taking left sides only like we talked about.
Copy that.
Copy that.
GTP field is approaching us.
Got it? Still feels really good there in Pujon.
That's what I don't get, you know. We always laugh about a car that feels good and a car that's fast. Usually the two do coincide. And usually you can push a little bit harder, P1 right behind you.
Yep.
Usually you can
Yeah,
push a little
absolutely,
harder on the
guys.
lat G and another one.
Yep.
Good clearance, got it. You know, you and I know. We've been around it. We like to see the confidence, the lateral G, everything picks up and keep moving forward. This car was handicapped right out of the box. We made
Yeah.
significant good changes, I feel. Just no rewards on it.
Yeah. If we test this car next week and it's really this far off, we might make a late race or late decision to change to a different car. Confirming box this lap, 35
box,
liters,
box,
left
box.
side tires.
Confirm. All set.
Thank you. I think we have a pretty late pit stall right by pit out. All right, just Garrett, help me rejoin here. Fortunately, this is a safe, easy rejoin, so. Yeah, nothing out there. All right, cold left side tires, hot right sides. Take it easy and Eau Rouge on the first one. Again, in no man's land, doesn't look like I'm racing anyone right now.
Sorry about that. I'm still getting used to the push to talk. I was trying to let you know it was all clear on the track.
All good.
Four-second gaps in the nearest GTPs.
Copy. That was close.
Lap P2 and two more GTPs approaching.
Copy. It's one of those things, I don't know if you've got comments on it, Angelo, that I've seen many times in real life, that you try to really, there's like a slippery slope with you trying to be a bit more polite with traffic, and they start getting more aggressive, and then you have to take more time off, and like you try to go 1% slower to give them a bigger window, and they take bigger and bigger bites, and it becomes riskier. So I know I'm kind of running my own race. I'm just trying to be safe and go for the easy moves, but sometimes it makes it actually riskier to do so.
Correct. And that's the old adage, hold your line, drive your race.
Yeah.
You almost, in a sense, want to play it the way there is no rearview mirror. You're driving your line, you're predictable, you're trying as hard as you can. It's up to the bigger cars to go around. It's not like you're a wounded duck or hurting anybody.
Yeah. I'll give up opportunity. I'll give up something if it's easy, but I'm not going to go throwing a whole section of corners out just to be overly polite with something.
That's a cop, you know. Obviously, leaders coming through will let you know, things like that. They're doing battle.
Yeah.
You're going to sacrifice. No big deal.
Yeah, and if
when
there's
you
a battle going on, that's what's really important. I don't want to interrupt a battle.
P2 approaching.
Copy. Left side tires are feeling a lot better now.
Copy that.
Ooh.
You also have GTPs approaching.
Copy.
3 of them.
Yep.
One more GTP.
Gregor just got word from the team owner. We rented the track tomorrow, so we're going to work through setup.
Let's do it.
Love it.
Well, if I told you what track we're racing on next week, very different track.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
A bit sandier, and in Monterey, California.
Laguna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the multi-class element there for a
Yeah, that's
small
tight.
place.
Heads up, the lead of the P2 field is approaching.
Copy. Thank you. I mean, who doesn't know Laguna Seca? I learned that in Gran Turismo when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, it's definitely a good track, but like you said, multi-class, got some tight sections. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's not very wide, not a lot of room for things, so the multi-class stuff is going to be very challenging. No,
That was you.
that was
That was
me.
that bump again. I think that was that bump again.
I tried to turn in too heavily.
Yep. All right.
All right, well, we got a 15-20 minute break here. I'm not sure it's going to affect
I
the
guess
overall
we'll
result.
Garrett, can we
catch
review
the
that?
last 2 minutes of the race.
Greg, take a breath. Relax a second.
All right. Well, this is racing, folks. It is not always fun and pretty and glorious on the podium. So, yeah, except I didn't hurt myself, and I'm just going to be about 3 minutes of tow time, and then what I can only assume is going to be about 15 minutes of a repair because the engine is probably in 3,000
Yeah,
pieces.
so if you remember, if we go back to some of the fun things of Mid-Ohio, when you can load the tires, you loaded the fronts at the compression, going into the compression, and just kicked the rear out. Make sense?
Yeah, that the setup. What I will say is that compared to the setup that we ran earlier today, the setup earlier today had a bigger operating window in Eau Rouge. It felt very comfortable to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a window, and now
You could
it
see that.
feels it's a very small window for what is possible.
Yeah,
To
it's
make it actually stick.
timing-wise there. So like I said, I was looking for low-hanging fruit. Eau Rouge is not the end-all be-all, of course. It is fast. It is important.
Mhm.
But when we first showed up and you and I were talking about the Ferraris, how nimble everything looked,
Mhm.
the Mercedes was just so slow to respond.
Yeah.
For instance, we would talk about 2 degrees of steering did not get us 2 degrees of results.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to watch the replay here and
please do, please do.
see what we actually did.
So look for the compression and turn.
Ah.
So you loaded the front end first, and the rear was not there yet.
Yeah. What I will say compared to what I had been doing, and it's a
Sure.
really small difference,
Oh yeah.
is normally I'm all over this curb. I think I'm a bit far to the left.
Yep.
And I had to do the turn-in a bit more rapid to
Yep.
compensate
Yep.
for
Yep.
it, which is a really, really small
Oh,
difference
razor
in
blades.
reality with my hands.
Yep. Yep.
I was just trying to compensate, and that's what the car could do earlier. That it would
Yeah.
respond and it would catch, and it would maybe
Yeah,
move around, but it wouldn't do that.
because we loaded the front so much sooner on the rest of the track. This really accentuated at the high speed. So
Yeah, let's do this again. So I just had to do too rapid of a change, and it just saturated the rear.
Yep. Well,
late.
You got him
the
off
rear
the
wasn't
left side,
compressed yet.
Yeah, that's
So,
ouchie.
That's
And
all right.
I literally just. Yeah,
And
well,
that's the subtleties. Yep.
that's
No room for correction on that.
no room for correction. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all Rouge.
My fault.
Not your fault. What are you talking about? We're trying to set up changes. Car felt good. We learned something.
I know.
We learned something.
Felt good. We were going purple sectors all the way out of the box, feeling good. We knew we compromised a little bit of en rouge.
Here, we'll watch the TV version of how glorious this crash was. Not that that's
Yeah.
actually something being mostly sarcastic about that. I don't
No,
love
I
watching
don't.
crashes.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I like them from the analyzation standpoint,
Yeah.
like we were saying, and you can see it.
Yeah.
Definitely
It's
timing.
gonna be a bad day. Yeah. I mean, shame on me for making a mistake there.
Nah, my fault.
We learned something.
Should give you a little bit bigger sweet spot.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's see.
It was all the panic and duress. We couldn't make changes fast enough. That's why we rented the track tomorrow. We'll go
Yeah.
at it again.
Done. Easy. All right, let's see what our actual repair time is. It's got to be 15 minutes or something.
15 minutes in Eau Rouge, a crash. Put it in the dumpster.
It's service time. Why? This is optional 8 minutes, but where's the required service time? Do they change this menu? Or is the car just totaled? Like, what is the...
It should be totaled.
I can't drive this thing. I guess it's got to be the 8 minutes.
Oh,
I thought there was required repairs and optional repairs. What happened to the required?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's decided it wants to take a pit stop as well, or if
We have a full
I'm not
load
sure.
of fuel. Do I have new tires? I've got 4 new tires. Enough fuel by a long shot. How much time do we even have left? Is there enough time to even get the car back out?
there's 13 minutes
we'd
left
have
in the
about
race.
5 minutes of driving, which I mean, I would go and participate and try to bring home some points. All right, well, since we have 7 minutes here, let's see what these prototypes...
Yeah, let's review that because I went back and watched them myself, and both incidents they just never bothered even going around you, and they just purposely pushed you out of the way. And there was genuinely no attempt. And I actually wrote down the second incident is at lap 8.
What was the first one?
The first one was between lap 4 and 6, I believe.
All right, so let's start with lap 4. Oh, that's lap
But
5.
both incidents were unacceptable. They're definitely protestable and reportable because they didn't even bother trying to get around you. They just forced you out of the way.
Yeah.
There was no attempt at all.
Yeah. This is where that Porsche was
Really
turned.
just unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, I try to play as fair as I can with the prototypes, like we always talk about.
You just stayed on your line. You didn't do a single thing wrong. These guys are 3,000 plus iRating. They should know better at this point than to go ahead and just like then push you out of the way. That
Yeah.
it seemed malicious in both cases.
Humans.
Angelo and I both reviewed them.
Yeah. Humans, guys. Humans.
Yeah.
Remember, the human animal is hard to contain.
The red mist.
Yeah, exactly. Is what it is. Greg and I's approach from the real side of the coin is totally unacceptable. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus on testing this thing and seeing if we can get the Mercedes to go a little bit faster. If not, we're looking at chassis change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Copy that.
Yeah, we still got about 6 minutes of repairs left to go here, so let's just
Yeah.
watch this from here. I
Sure.
think this is about where the prototypes... I don't know, I don't see any prototypes yet, but I know they're probably...
Yeah, just fast forward a little bit.
Let's go to the next lap.
Might have been this lap. I'm not sure.
All right, here's all the GTPs coming through. Was it they were both hits were P2s, weren't they?
I believe so.
Okay, so we got to be getting close at this point. All right, let's go to lap 6. It might be that one. All right, so now the P2s are getting involved. Do I have any damage on the car yet? That would also tell us what we need to know.
There wasn't any damage from either incident, actually. They
Okay.
just basically got up behind us and pushed us out of the way.
Okay.
It was skillfully done. I mean, you know, most of the guys that run iRacing and everything else figure out, or in go-karts, figure out how to push a car around out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I said it was malicious. It was not like they came in like hustling and like really sending it in hard. They rolled up slowly and nicely and carefully and didn't break their own splitter and just pushed you out.
While you're loaded up in a corner.
Seemed very deliberate.
Yeah. I'd like to think there's not people out there who do that type of thing just because they think I'm a little bit in their way and they just ruin someone else's night. But
I mean, then again, in our test race the other day, there was a few people trying to purposely ruin our race, including one who literally pit maneuvered us. So
yeah, very intentionally.
Yeah.
Karma was on our side earlier though, and he went right into the wall. And then when he tried doing it again, he went into the wall again.
Yeah. All right. Well, this Porsche was playing all fair and square. I know he passed me, I believe, at this next complex. Just on a different racetrack than I am. Around the outside. Alright, I think it was shortly after this where the prototypes...
It was a super close cut-in, though.
Yeah. Car looks awesome. Thanks again to Replica Racing, Josiah. We have an updated livery now. We've got our matte blue and the satin chrome on the side of the car. It looks really cool.
I do like it.
It looks super cool. Would love to make it happen on a real car someday. I'm sure we will. But love the way this thing looks. Don't get to appreciate it that much as I'm driving it, but it looks really cool in the replay files. So, all right, looks like P2s are starting to catch us now, so this is possibly where all this stuff happens here.
Yep, this has got to be where it's happening because lap 8, I wrote down that we got pit maneuver here, or we got pushed out of the way rather.
Okay. I think it was in 5, 6, 7, I want to say was one of them.
Yeah, it was after the straightaway.
Yeah. We got about 2.5 minutes until we, in theory, can drive again. Yeah, I see a gaggle of P2s behind me.
Is that a flock of P2s?
Flock. Oh, it was... Nope, that wasn't it.
Yeah, there were a handful that just decided to be peaceful to get around us like the right way around, but then a few other ones decided they were being impatient.
Yeah. Flock of P2s.
Yeah. To be fair, it is difficult in real life to predict, look at the car in front of you when you're in a rocket ship, and try to have the patience and idea of what's ahead of you, of where I can pass that
was the one.
Yeah.
That was the one. So let's back up and see this from a different...
Yeah, I watched the rear chase. That gives you a good perspective. The far chase.
Or the far chase. I'm just like committed at apex, and I guess he's trying to go around me. All right, in fairness, he probably just misjudged the width of his car or his placement or whatever, and just kind of tapped me from behind here. Yeah, I mean, damaged the rear of my car. I would imagine he damaged his, and he just kind of kept trucking. So, not net code. That was a 12.
Maybe he just assumed that you were not going to move over.
You know what they say about assuming.
Oh, I'm trying to, give him kudos here.
I'll give him. What I will say, I have made that same mistake from the other side before.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give benefit of a doubt. That didn't seem as intentional.
Yeah.
There was another time in 5, 6, 7 where I was hit squarely from behind, like squared up behind me, punted me right in the back of the car. It's one thing to hit me the corner.
Yeah, that was lap 8 and 5 and 6.
Yeah. So think about it like, all right, hold your line means hold your racing line. So, in theory, you were moving back on your racing line. He was assuming that you would stay left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
So.
Uh,
Again,
I'll give room in
yeah.
that. He's not the biggest offender.
No,
I'll let that go. There's room for error in there. We got 5 seconds, and we're gonna take
All
off.
right, let's rock.
Go racing again here. Just to bring it home. Got 4 new tires now. Obviously, we're not really in much of a race here. I think there's several laps between me and the next car in either direction. So we're just gonna bring it in and bring it home. Learn what we can and move on to the next one.
Heads up, we got P2 and GTP traffic ahead of us.
Copy.
Or behind us, rather. Coming up on us now.
Yep. I am on ice cold tires all around, so I'm going to definitely take it easy on this one.
Yeah, so the other thing that happens, you know, in a race, you come out with ice cold tires, you've got all this traffic around you, and there is no grip online. There's way no grip offline.
Mm-hmm.
Marbles, things build up, so it's up to them to go around. Unfortunately, on so many instances.
Yeah. And believe me, I mean, you've been in the race director meetings, the race briefings at an IMSA level before too. I've heard Bo Barfield yell at the top of his lungs at factory professional drivers that they need to give more room for GTs. And it is totally unacceptable for a prototype to hit a GT car from behind in real life. The one that comes to mind, we were at Watkins Glen, and I think one of the, at the time, DPIs literally punted a GTD off the track at the bus stop in a practice session.
Yeah, that's...
And there was a big argument about it.
That's bonkers.
It's
you know,
totally unacceptable, though. It's like...
I laugh because, you know, just the dollar signs alone, you put your team behind. Just stop right there. You put your team behind on front splitter, front end,
yeah.
you know, damage, unforeseen damage that could break later on. Basically, and then to take somebody else out, and at some point you could throw the whole entire car out.
Yeah, the part that I think complicates it and in real life, and I think that somehow indirectly, incorrectly translates to what's going on here, is that, oh, you're in the top class, therefore we're the top dogs, we're somehow more important than everyone else than what's going on. In real life, you have to bake in the fact that the GTP or DPI, if we're talking a couple of years ago, class is a factory class with much more money being spent, and that the GTD class is much more of a privateer, lower, relatively speaking, lower budget situation. So therefore, the factory teams think that they own the place, and that the privateers need to get out of the way and let the big boys come and race. That part is not. That is not true. That is the case, but that does not change the way the race proceedings need to go work through. So,
physics. It's hard to change
it's physics, and it's safety, and it's real lives, and real budgets, and real jobs, and all these things that are actually happening. And just because you're who you say you are, you should be held to a higher standard than the people who are paying the bills. So,
flashing your lights does not make the car disappear.
Yes.
That's how I make them disappear on 95.
Does that work? What lights do you have?
Oh, I have the rigid floodlights.
They work.
Do they get people out of the way?
Oh, are you asking about the front or the rear?
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So you're one of those guys. I mean, I would do it too if I had it on the truck.
There's a chance.
Watch out for titanium gray Tacomas on 95 now.
Yeah, let's not, no incriminating things because they're for off-road use only, so I would never do such a thing.
Of course, of course.
You didn't even wire them in, did you? They're just on there.
Well, the car feels great now. On 4 new tires and a lighter fuel load with no one around.
Yeah, that's the problem I have right now. Car feels good, but we're slow. So,
Yeah.
I want to try a couple different things. Maybe you and I one day will just run back to Spa and just try a couple things with the Merc.
Yeah. I love the Mercedes. It has a very special spot in my heart for a lot of reasons. Sounds awesome. Shape of it is really cool. Nothing beats a big old 6.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 made in Germany. But you know, I don't like slow race cars either, so
It's not even that's a slow race car. It's just iRacing screwing us over.
yeah.
Real life, the thing freaking gets going.
It wins
scoots.
races. It still wins races.
It's just
I mean,
politics and iRacing.
Yeah, I know that real car inside and out. I love working with that thing. And what I will say about the Mercedes compared to many other GT3 cars in real life and from what I found in iRacing is that the operational window is the biggest by far. That you can do a lot and still get really quick.
So you have all three class leaders approaching you right now. Just heads up.
Okay, all right. Got it. Thank you for the heads up.
Yes, as you were saying, the operational window for the car is very, very broad.
Yeah, it's broad, and you can really do well with a lot of different driving styles and engineering setups, and you don't have to get everything perfectly correct with your engineers and your driving style and all these things to make it work and really get you really competitive, especially in real life. I guess iRacing, you can still drive the car and be fast and comfortable, but clearly it's not fast enough to really do anything competitive anymore. I hope I'm not overgeneralizing here, but we'll see.
Let's hold that for second thought. You know,
Yeah.
being engineers, we're going to test it and see what we can do. We're going to throw the kitchen sink at it in different ways and see if she responds.
Yep. Always got to tighten the nut behind the wheel too.
You drive pretty clean. You know, there's always a little bit of room on the table, but you and I are going to have to sit down with the data, take a look at sector times and everything else.
Yeah. Have I shown you our H&H printouts that we can get here too?
I haven't seen the printouts yet.
Oh, it does all the timing HTML reports and whatnot.
Nice. All right.
Oh, this is the checkered flag. I didn't even notice. Oh, it's because the leaders just passed us. That's why I didn't get a white.
Yeah, you're a few laps down, my friend. A few laps down.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, well, we brought home what is a P14 finish. Actually not as bad of a hit to my iRating, it looks like, as it could have been, just because this was such a highly ranked field. Did bring home 11 incident points, which I don't love. Most of those being, not all of them my fault, but some of them.
Yeah, how do they judge that?
So the incident points, you can get anywhere from 0 to 4 at a time. 0 is just an indication that you physically made contact with someone, but it didn't disturb what either of you are doing. It's just a notification that you touched. 1 is a really light touch, and then 4 is a solid contact with another car or the wall. And then equally, if you go off track, like you exceed the track limits, it's 1 point. And then I think if you make contact with an outside wall, there's another accumulation of, I believe, 2 or 4 points. And then if you accumulate 17 within the race, you get disqualified. I believe you get a penalty. I think 25 is an immediate yanked from the session. I think that's the rules in this series. What does it say? What does it say? Penalty at 17 points and an immediate DQ at 25. So
yeah, so you know, unfortunately the system is rigged. It's simple math. You know, if you're driving a bigger class car, you can pick maneuver somebody with a 0, just a light contact, and that's just out of the way, gone. Not to get a point, not hurt your iRating or anything like that.
Yeah, you can afford to throw away points and tactically use them, especially with the track limit situation. If you're really racing someone, yeah, we can maybe run a little bit wide at the kink and throw it and really send it if we really want to retain the position. Is it fair? Well, up to argument, because the other guy could be doing the same thing too. So, yeah, let's see how this all settled out here. So the other thing we're really going to be paying close attention to the second half of this season is our total points accumulation over the whole series. So what I will say is that, so there's a couple different ways that we break this down. Naturally, we're only going to be looking at cars in our class. We're looking at the IMSA iRacing series, which we've been doing since the beginning of the season 2 of 2024. So looking at GT3 class, in total points accumulation, I have 734 points, which puts me 56th in the world, which, you know.
What car number is that?
Car number? What do you mean?
No, we're watching some replays. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
Apologize.
Nope, that's okay. So I'm 56th in the world based on points, and technically the race from just now has not been added to that, so we might even be a little bit higher. But what we'll also look at, it does take a little while for the championship points to update, so we'll go through this first. And then what they do, to my understanding, there's 10 divisions, which are just 10 different splits based on your I rating that it looks at, that it splits you into different kind of championships. I've been in Division 3, and I am in first place in Division 3, not counting the points that I just added on tonight, which probably wasn't very many. But nonetheless, I am still in first place in the third division on iRacing, which is super cool. Love that. And my goal is that if we can bring that win home in that at the end of the season, I will be all smiles. So the other one that's fun to look at is that we can all look at all the clubs or the different regions that iRacing has. They have that entire region just for the good old state of Florida, of which I am also in first place right now with a margin of what looks like 29-34, about 60 points over second place. So we're going to be watching those really closely. I would love to take an overall win in Florida, and I would love to take a Division 3 win. That would be awesome, and then hopefully get bumped up a division and then have a harder field to play with championship-wise.
As you know, folks, it's don't stop. So we're going to keep tuning. We're going to keep trying, seeing where Greg can improve, seeing where I can improve. It's a team effort.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so looking at race results, kind of we knew what to expect here with this one. I took a 24-point hit to my I rating. That's okay, not a big deal. We're still in the mid-22s, which also certainly is pretty high, the highest I've ever really been around. I don't know if I've cracked a 23 yet. Really close.
What's it take to move that from 23 to 24?
So your I rating is based purely on your finishing results. So it's kind of like a chess rating, that if we're in a strength of field where the average I rating in the field is much higher than mine and I win, well, I'm going to get a huge positive hit. Or if I'm batting down where I'm in if I get put in a lower ranked field on average than what I have and I do poorly, it's going to really hurt. If I finish about midfield and in a strength of field that's evenly matched with mine, it's probably not going to change anything. So,
weighted results, I like that.
yeah, it's based on the ranking of everyone else. So there's a bell curve that's naturally determined. I know around a 22, 23, you're in the top 7% or so of everyone who's on iRacing, which is pretty cool to be in the top 10% of something. So safety rating hits, yeah, we accumulated a bunch of points, most of which are my fault. So it's a whole quarter of a point hit. So I'm down to 3.16, still in a really good range. Not going to be too upset about that. All right, we know we were several laps off, so there's not really much to look at here. Let's just look at fast lap time. My best.
I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, we're a bit off here. At 2:21, I was actually able to do a 20 flat in the previous race, just because I think Eau Rouge, it was just giving up too much time. Unfortunately, the car felt better in a lot of places, but
yeah, we're gonna go right back. Unfortunately, you and I are gonna stay for 3 or 4 more laps after tonight, just to try a couple of quick things.
Let's do it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we can do that on the stream now. I mean, if anyone wants to watch, we can. If everyone else doesn't mind doing another 10 minutes, we can try to work through a couple of things and fix it.
I'd like to. I'd feel better about it, just knowing that we left some stuff on the table the way we both feel right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump back in. We'll just do a quick thing. I don't want to keep anyone too late here tonight, but all right, we'll just do a private test session because I don't want to go interrupting.
So I was looking online, and granted, I'm on my phone, so I'm not having the full suite of a laptop or anything like that with understanding it, but I'm finding that there's a handful of open setups that are online.
Okay.
I was very curious. I would be very curious to review what those look like compared to what our setup was. Obviously, there's paid ones. Mm-hmm. You could buy the baseline.
Yep.
You could buy the track specific, and they call it with your crew chief. So I thought that was very interesting, but I'd love to see the difference. I think that would be so interesting for maybe if they're like $5, mm-hmm. acceptable. 50, yeah. Not so much.
maybe what we can do is a spin-off thing on a weekend or something is that, like, Angela, you and I can take a couple hours and all we do is dial in a setup ahead of a race week or something. So it could just be all private testing, and then we can dig into trying out one of these paid setups. On the surface, I'm very against Angela's. I'm sure, like, if Jeff Braun came over and gave you his championship winning setup for an LMP3 and said, here you go, you'd probably be like, That's cool. Thanks for the effort, Jeff. But I'm gonna not. I don't know what to do with this because I don't know what it means. What do I tell my driver? And I don't understand what this does as much as it may have won a championship. You can have these magical setups that get handed to you, and you can go drive with them and try to do something with them. But I think understanding what you have in a setup is much more powerful development-wise.
Knowledge is king.
Knowledge is king. I want to understand why it does what it does,
Yep.
not just be given something.
How that chassis responds to anything from brake bias to camber to whatever helps guide you towards a faster and faster setup.
Yeah. All right. So we know where we are with the setup. I just loaded the same exact race setup that we just had. What do we want to try here first? If we're going to try a couple of things really quick. I'd love to get the car stable in Eau Rouge. Would be great.
Yeah. So let's go down 2 springs on the front.
Softer, you said. Yeah. So we started at 2,000 at the beginning of the night. We went up to 2,140. We're going to go down to 1,850 now. And I know we went a bit higher on ride height as well. We want to go.
Yeah, well, I was worried about bottoming out when your first comment, so I just wanted to make sure that we weren't, in Eau Rouge and everything else. I knew the front wasn't bottoming, but I was worried about the rear getting kicked out. But as we can see, it was just the way it was loading up.
Okay.
Again, not having physicality, being on the car, it's a little bit harder for us to predict what's going on.
Yeah. All right, so we went softer on the front by 2 steps. Do we just want to try that as is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, let's do that. All right, we'll just do a couple minutes of this real quick to get a read on this. So.
You want to try the Ferrari for 2 laps?
Yeah, maybe we will try that after this also, and I can get if the baseline is immediately faster, that's...
It's not in the budget to buy the Ferrari. I'm sorry.
It's only $12.95.
We got the...
It's a bargain. I'll take 2.
Yeah, right? I also own the Porsche, too.
I brought this up to Angela, just a little conspiracy. This is just putting my little tinfoil hat right now.
Okay.
So I think we all know that tomorrow at F1 Miami, that Ferrari is unveiling their new 8167, or Ferrari F167, or whatever it is, whatever the designation is. The successor to the 812, basically.
Yeah.
And they're also doing a new livery, and they're doing all this new stuff.
Market
Tinfoil
splash,
hat part of me
market
wants to
splash.
say that they
Helicopters flying over.
might have gone ahead and just passed a bit of money towards iRacing, make their cars a little bit better this week to make them look a bit better for this upcoming weekend, where they have new liveries and new setups and new car coming out. Just a little part of me wants to believe that.
first,
Especially considering how many people are riding the Ferrari and how dominant it was this week.
Yeah. At first I'm like, does Ferrari really care how fast their car is on iRacing?
It's Ferrari.
And then the detail that I remembered is that we're talking about Ferrari, and if you've ever worked around Ferrari, a little fast because I'm talking. If you've ever worked on Ferraris or been around them, you own one, been to a dealership, anything like that, you discover that Ferrari doesn't do things the way normal companies and people do. They act like a small family operation that pulls all sorts of strings to make very bizarre things happen for political reasons. And then you start to be like, Garrett, you may not be entirely wrong. Was there an update to the Ferrari that came out this week, or just the Mercedes, you said?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, well...
I didn't scroll down to see, but I saw the Mercedes got updated and nothing else changed.
Huh.
But the Ferrari might have gotten an update.
Yeah, interesting.
The update size was large enough that I could have slipped a little bit of an update on there.
Huh. Well...
I don't think 419 has an update yet, so we can double check that actually.
Yeah.
The software developer.
Tire
and
temps
me.
up.
Yeah, they're good enough I can get a read, so this next lap is going to tell us what we need to know.
The software developer in me says that you could go in and check that file and see its last modified date. And then you can either confirm or deny your tinfoil hat for a silent update.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All the money.
Again, this doesn't feel awful right now. Still doesn't feel bad. I'm gonna try this
doesn't
here.
mean shit to me. How fast is it?
Oh, that was on not perfectly warm tires. It did a flat slide there briefly in the middle, and I just kept my foot in it, and it kind of caught and would be fine. I think the next lap's going to feel even better if I did that.
Copy that. I'm watching it.
The rest of this feels pretty good also.
Well, you know, having never been to Spa, there's a lot more slow speed stuff that I think of.
Yeah, there's a lot of second gear and 2 first gear corners here, so.
So then the joke maybe is to go backwards, see how soft you can get it to send it through, gain on all the slow speed, medium speed stuff, mechanical grip, and then worry about Eau Rouge last.
Yeah, for sure.
That explain why the Porsche could go around on your outside in this upcoming turn.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, 200 pound Big Pen springs, whistle it around all the first and second gear stuff, and then pray to God on the Eau Rouge, you know, work on the setup there, just there, make sure you're high enough so it doesn't crush the springs or anything stupid.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'd like to work on in myself with my driving as a habit is that I know these GT3s, and specifically in iRacing, you really have to have very smooth steering inputs. It doesn't like you playing with the wheel or having what Angelo and I would call happy hands or fast hands.
Happy hands, yay!
I don't have like unknowing happy hands. I do it very deliberately because I'm trying to feel how it would respond to 1 degree more wheel and then 1 degree less. I'm trying to feel that. That's what I try to do sometimes, but I think GT3s and iRacing don't respond well to it, so.
Again, it's a little bit of the disconnect on real world racing and waiting for that feedback. You know, that stuff that comes instantaneously while you're driving versus in a sim.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what this lap time actually is. 21.4, still, that was a 9/10 lap. And we're still just off by a good margin. Without looking at the data, it's hard to say.
Overall feel?
Overall feel is fine. I want to see what it really does here in Eau Rouge a second time on hotter tires. I'm holding it flat no matter what happens here. Oh, okay. All right. That was fine. That wasn't scary.
Was not scary.
Was
I
not
like
scary.
those words.
It didn't actually do anything crazy. All right. It didn't yield us a huge amount of time. It's only 1/10 of a second that it's worth.
Yeah, that's exactly what the mathematician in the back of my head was surmising. I'm like, all right, where's our biggest, lowest hanging fruit? And we spend so much time in second gear, third gear. I think that's our fruit.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to experiment.
Let's go ahead and
carved in nice. It responds better to a trail.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Keeping
because
it loaded.
It's
Yep.
softer, it compresses a bit more.
Yep.
But it does not like neutral. You have to use the brake pedal to help the car turn.
Yeah. You got to keep
sure.
that front loaded up. Gotcha.
Oh yeah, I feel the difference in the front end.
Yep. Like it. All right.
Yeah.
So now what I'd like to do is probably play around with the camera and see what she responds to again, in and out. So let's box.
Copy. I'm just going to stop for the sake of time.
Oh, you're allowed to do that? Excuse
we
me,
can
you're in
do
the
that.
sand. Get out of the sand.
I can just do this. All right, let's do a quick change here, and then we'll do a brief test with the Ferrari.
Yeah, basically just no yielded results. You know, going up, down, playing around. But let's do one more thing.
What do you want to try?
Kitchen sink. Take camber out of it.
Everywhere?
Full half a degree everywhere.
All right, so 4.0 on the front to 3.5, all around equally?
Yeah, all around. I'm just gonna see how she responds. Basically, when you throw a dart at the dartboard, you only have 1 point, and what we're looking for is linearity. See which direction the car likes.
Yep.
So basically, what we're doing is we're just plotting out some reactions to what the car does, grips up, doesn't grip up in different areas.
Yeah.
What yields results and doesn't yield results.
Mapping what the response was.
Yes, spot on.
Yeah.
Gold tires.
Cold tires. Helps if I let go of the limiter.
So we're looking for low speed sectors versus high speed sectors on this camera change.
Copy. Try to bring these temps up quickly. Load the brake a little bit, get some brake into the heat into the wheels and brakes. while we're getting closer to the end of our night here, let's do our shout out to all of our partners and supporters here. Big thank you to, of course, to Decipher Technologies for all their IT cybersecurity support here. Got some really cool upgrades coming to the club here in the next couple of weeks that we're very much looking forward to. Southwake Capital for all the support on the business development side of things. We're working very diligently on Chicane Club version 2.0 coming in the next 2 to 3 years. Got some big plans, take time to come together, but you guys are going to love what that's going to be. So, a lot of fun in the meantime, though. As always, Sawbelt for their awesome driving gear stuff. I'm wearing their Hero 9 gloves right now. Don't need fireproof in the sim, of course, but I drive in real life a good bit, and I like to drive with what I'm used to in the real car, and so it's very normal for me and not foreign territory there. I'm sitting in their GT pad seat with the removable adjustable pads everywhere to make everyone comfortable in the same bucket seat without changing anything. And then I've got their 6.2 inch harness and aluminum adjusters holding me in place here. Overkill for a sim? Yeah, you bet. But we like doing things a little overkill here. We do a lot of training with real drivers, and we find that the seatbelts help a lot with connecting the driver with the motion that's going on in the seat underneath them. So, as always, Race Logic and VBox. We use their SimPack system to capture all of our center screen video and all of the onboard data to review afterwards. I think Angelo and I might take a look at it afterwards or another time. I took it a little too light through there to make a determination.
One more lap.
Yeah, one more lap for sure. Need one more lap for temperature anyway. Captain's Chair Coaching for giving me some of the best executive and business coaching in the biz. Shout out to Replica Racing, as always, for hooking us up with these really cool liveries on Assetto Corsa and iRacing. Got a lot of cool things in the works. You guys can hit up his website if you want to get something like that. He also does really high quality, photorealistic photos within Assetto and iRacing. So if you're not a photographer like I am not, then you want to talk to Josiah to get that stuff taken care of. I realize I've never mentioned it, but Symmetric Labs is also listed as one of our partners. That was version 0 of the Chicane Club. That was the mobile version of this whole operation. We had one of these simulators, slightly older one, older model year, in a 45-foot gooseneck trailer, we traveled all over the country, and that was the birthplace of what is now the Chicane Club. Obviously not traveling all over the country anymore. We're fixed based here in Jupiter now. Jupiter, Florida, only about a quarter mile from the Intercoastal. So. And then Rocky's Ultimate Garage here at West Palm Beach, doing the best wheels, tints, wraps, PPF, and detailing around. If you guys have a high-end car, you want it treated like the car, you want it treated really well, the way you love it at home, bring it to Rocky's. They will hook you up and give you everything and anything you need there. Rocky is an absolute all-star in the business. I would trust him with my car tomorrow without even thinking about it. And that's a lot coming from me. I don't trust people with my cars. Definitely stops better.
So we had
we got more longitudinal grip.
Yeah, so we had to tune some cars that had ABS that would slip into ice mode based on braking on camber. So with more camber, it usually equals more lateral grip. But if you can't stop it, it isn't worth anything. But basically, we would keep tipping the camber in and in and in and in, produce 4 or 5 degrees, and then hit ice mode, and then we'd start backing it up to find that break point.
Yeah, I did that flat, no drama.
Yeah,
I can feel that it's getting close.
yeah.
But you just have to be very particular with your hands and very
Copy
precise,
that.
and it works fine. I want to send it through this next section one more time, really hard. It's definitely got more traction too, which is kind of more of what we were just saying.
Yeah, so just trying to match spring rate with roll with camber.
Yep. Oh, I even over-rotated a little bit on entry, and it was not unpredictable. I want to finish this lap and see what we actually can turn here.
I'm
Come
waiting.
on, still
I'm
no
waiting.
front end and high speed.
That'd be the big lump V8 that's just swinging the front end around.
I'm sorry, guys. We'll get out of here shortly. I want to just finish this, and then we'll do a 2-lap of Ferrari and see how we feel. I mean,
Are you
what's
are
up?
you using the same braking markers as what you have always been using, or are you trying to compensate for knowing that you are able to get away with a little bit more?
A little bit of both. I'm trying to keep it conservative, but I feel it's much more planted, and I'm almost over slowing, braking at what was previously the latest possible markers before.
Folks, this is a great little test session that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that happens is you get in the truck and trailer, you're leaving the track, and you say to yourself, wow, I want to go back. So what we're doing now is we just went back. We're just trying to figure out a few things on the car.
Yeah, let me do one more time through Eau Rouge, and then we'll switch over to the Ferrari. It's way more predictable on that power down slide we were talking about also. Yeah, all right, a little wide up the hill, but it didn't get out of sorts when I asked for a little bit more, so I like that part. All right, I think that was a good positive change, pulling some camber out of it. And like I said, Angelo, on powered down, it's much more predictable, the slide. It's not kind of hunting.
Knife edge.
Yeah.
Up on the camber, just rolling it flat, not rolling it flat, not. Got it.
Yeah, I think we could do some more work with that with the dampers too to help control that too. But
if you notice, we didn't even get to that yet.
We
The
didn't get
guy
that
didn't
far.
get the shocks.
Yeah. Like I can even over-rotate a little bit here on entry, and I just stick it to power, and it's much more predictable on a slide rather than being darty. This part, I still think it does suffer in the high-speed stuff where we're really loading the car. So that's probably the compromise with camber, perhaps.
Yeah, well, we just made a half-degree change, so we'll backpedal it a little bit.
Yeah, we go the other direction. We can find the happy medium. All right, I'm gonna stop.
All right, great test, Thanks, guys.
That was very educational. All right, do we still want to see the Ferrari right now? Let's see the comments. Do we want to see the Ferrari tonight, or is that something we save for later?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll be quick. I have driven the Ferrari 4. I did some of the Ferrari Challenge stuff. We do not have a cool livery for the Ferrari, so we might be talking to Josiah this week.
I think the Ferrari Challenge is at Long Beach this week, along with the Toyota GR Cup.
Oh, interesting. Oh, no. What did I do? It gave me a wet session.
I didn't see any of the changes produce lap time, or still no?
I think I need time to get more comfortable before. I think it will yield a little bit of lap time. I think on the order of maybe 3 to 5 tenths. I need to take time to settle into driving the car. I think
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're doing, is the math in our head. And I didn't ask the full leading question, but I kind of already predicted that in my head. Is that nothing went, aha, we just didn't see a 1 second gain all of a sudden.
It wasn't a world of
yeah.
change.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're still playing with it, but there's definitely something that's missing or lacking in this car.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it defaulted somehow to a wet session, which I did not want. So let's try this again. All right. Ferrari. Test drive. Always defaults to a wet session for some reason.
Hit that red button up there. Reset to defaults. That's you had it set probably.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, it happened to me too. I was trying out the rain.
All right, good to know. For some reason, it's been forcing me every single time. I will switch it to dry, and then I come back to it the next time, and then it went back to being wet again, and I don't know why. So hopefully this is the same session, the same conditions as before. But let's see what we got here. I have driven the Ferrari a little bit. I did, like I said, Ferrari Challenge stuff. I don't think I've done. Maybe I did one IMSA race like last season. I think at Spa actually. with the Ferrari. I remember not hating it. I think it was really good. It's going to take a little bit for me to adapt with it being mid-engine and a different power band and all these different things, but let's figure it out here quickly. If by lap 3 I'm a second and a half faster, that tells me everything I need to know.
We have faith in our driver.
You know, Ferrari stuff ultimately is me actually going back to my roots. I've learned how to work on cars on every breed of Ferrari under the sun, so this would... I bleed red. Everyone bleeds red, but I actually bleed Ferrari red. So I'm literally going to take...
So you've busted your knuckles on them.
Yes, many. I have this scar on the back of my hand is from a 360 challenge. I'm trying to pop open a gearbox fill. What setup do I have? Okay, so this is literally the Spa race default setup. I'm not going to even look at anything else here.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me to get started with. All right, first off, driving position is very different, so we need to go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower. That feels a lot better. All right. Does sound like a vacuum cleaner.
What?
Twin turbo.
Oh, turbo, yeah.
V6. Not a big old nasty, naturally aspirated V8, but, you know, we're going to take what we can get. Winning doesn't care what sound the car makes. Angela, you know what else is really cool with this thing? It's got 2-stage traction control to play with.
Ooh. More electronics. I like the right foot better than the electronics.
What's that?
I like the right foot better than the electronics, but
yeah.
In this case, it's still fun.
Oh, this feels so different.
That's it.
This is why I'm losing. The way that turned into Eau Rouge.
I think my tinfoil hat just turned into not so tinfoil.
The way this turns into a corner is so different. What is going on? Come on.
Ferrari's paying out the ass. Sorry about my language, but they're paying.
Hey, it's only a theory. It's only a theory.
Well, the Ferrari's been fast for a while.
It seems especially fast now.
Yeah.
The Ferrari's been fast, but this is, we've been able to compete with them, but this is a whole different level. You're on cold tires and you're taking everything faster than you took it in the AMG.
Yeah, this feels better on cold tires. Like, you took the words out of my mouth. It feels better on cold tires than the AMG did on hot tires. All right, well, we might be racing a Ferrari next week, unfortunately or unfortunately.
Sell the car, bring the checkbook.
Sell the Mercedes. I want the Ferrari. That would be fitting. Oh, look, there's a Sawbelt logo on here. Got the Sawbelt window net. I mean, setup could use a little bit of work, and I definitely need some seat time to get comfortable with this, because this is totally different. But I can tell you, probably faster right now. Okay, whoa. Just the way it turns in so confidently.
Yep.
Effortlessly. There's
Yep.
like no lag. It
You can
drives
see
like
it.
it feels like a prototype versus a GT car on turn-in.
You know, in the sim, when we went to St. Pete, we were playing around and started out with the junior Formula cars and went all the way up. Like I said, we've been driving a lot of the Cayman GT4 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've driven the Mercedes, and the minute I say back to open wheel, that's where some of my roots are. Even in the sim, it just felt so much more dialed in. Like you said, you didn't have to be as slow on the hands to get it to point, the weight, and everything else. So definitely enjoy hearing your comments on this car too as well.
Yeah, it's very effortless to get it to carve in. I mean, I took that first turn 17 kink flat on cold tires, which never normally happens. That is the least drama I've ever had through Eau Rouge.
It's totally visible that was the least drama you ever had through Eau Rouge.
I don't know the aero setup on this, so
No,
it's going to be
exactly.
cranked right now, but
yeah,
it just feels bad fast right now. And I'm braking later. It's changing direction much faster. I definitely need to get seat time, and then we need to build this setup.
That was the first thing that I saw when we were looking at video when we first rolled up, is the change of direction. It was like the Mercedes in a totally different class. It was like a Peterbilt, and this is, you know, a Formula car.
Yeah. This feels like a prototype. It feels like I'm driving something closer to the LMP2 than the GT3.
Copy that.
I mean, I know I'm not like miles different on lap time yet, but if I turn the same lap time in my first lap on a default setup,
I agree, and that would be back to Garrett's tinfoil hat.
yeah. I wonder how much of that is Ferrari doing something funny or Mercedes not playing the politics game.
It could just be random shuffle as performance
Yeah.
creep goes. We've been through it. All of a sudden, a couple guys find something, a team finds something, they start walking ahead.
Yeah.
So, which is part of racing. You
Yep.
never stop tuning.
I mean, no drama, like room to spare on that. Again, don't know where the aero setup is, but overshot the braking a little bit.
Yeah, saw that.
All right, let's see one more flyer. That was a 21.4, so I matched what I did in the Mercedes on a blind setup in one lap in the car.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it could definitely be trimmed out at this point, and that would only get us faster in this high-speed stuff. This is like no drama.
Sunday drive.
Yep. I could do it all day long.
Scariest part on the track, and it's a Sunday drive.
Yeah, it's not hard. All right, I really want to dial in this next section here.
User disconnected from your channel.
Oh yeah, there's more there. I just gotta practice it. Oh, that's the part that I gotta practice. I definitely have to be more deliberate with the brake usage. Let's just call it there, guys.
Yeah, I was just about to say, okay, let's stop here.
Yeah. Overall, really good night. Thank you guys for the support. Not a fantastic result by a long shot.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's racing.
These things happen. We have good races, we have bad races. We probably used all your good karma earlier with the Ferrari hit maneuvering us and you catching it and him going on the wall. To be fair, we had our good luck and we probably just used it all up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's all good. But thank you guys as always. Shout out to you guys back there. We got Angelo from Anze Suspension helping with all the setup stuff. More to be played with there. We got Garrett giving me all the spotting and crew chiefing work from the back end to help make my job a little bit easier. We got TJ from More Podiums. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, there's a link in the bio or the description of this video. You can check out his channel. He puts a lot of more content out there than we even do. Does some really cool stuff. Give him a follow, subscribe, watch his stuff. And then my wife Daphne on YouTube, making sure that you guys are all cooperating on there, making sure all our marketing happens. So for now, I don't know. We're going to see what I originally said I wanted to drive the Mercedes for the rest of the season. But, after just briefly testing the Ferrari, I might be having a change of heart. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, stay tuned. We got Laguna Seca coming up next week. I think everyone knows Laguna. If you've ever been anywhere near a PlayStation or an Xbox, everyone knows Laguna Seca. I've been there many times. Angelo, I'm sure you've been there many times. Awesome place. I love traveling out there. Racetrack, cool. Not really a great place to race, but very cool place to drive. Corkscrews, unlike anything else. I think TJ and I, we're going out to Sebring ourselves this weekend for the SRO GT World Challenge stuff. And
When are you going?
Saturday for the day.
I'm going Friday for the day, and then Saturday at F1 Miami for the day.
Oh, very cool. We tickets are still a little bit too much for us to go down to Miami, but I don't know. Maybe we'll change our mind. Either way, we're going to be out at Sebring this Saturday, just checking out SRO GT World Challenge. I know I've got we're going to meet up with Parker Thompson, who's a factory Toyota Lexus driver, and Colin Brown, who is a world-class prototype guy driving with George Kurtz in the Mercedes-AMG GT3. So it's going to be a fun week. We'll see you guys from Laguna next week, maybe in a Mercedes, maybe in a Ferrari. We don't know yet, but
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. So have a good night, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg.